You're listening to Heroes in the Moment.
What's up, heroes? I'm Michael.
And I'm Nathan.
And today we're attempting to dip our foot into the world of YouTube.
Both our feet.
So we're waving at the camera, of course. This video may or may not ever come out. But of course, we're new, we're attempting, and we're giving it a try. So if you want to give us a like, give us a subscribe, we would very much appreciate that once we get that YouTube up and running.
Facts.
But to get into today's content of the episode, She-Hulk, episode 7.
Dude, honestly, I can feel my character just developing within me, if I'm being honest.
Mm-hmm.
I know what you said earlier. I know you said you found this one more entertaining than the others.
I do agree with that.
I didn't feel like that.
Really?
I was watching it in bed. I'm holding my phone, and I'm thinking the whole time, dude, I'd rather watch, like, women's basketball, like, to be honest. Like, really.
That's a call. Yeah, okay, I understand. Like, it was not a good episode. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But I do think it was better than the last two. But it wasn't good. But at the same time, I had fun watching it.
It was definitely more related to the main storyline, right?
Yeah,
because of what we saw at the end.
Anyway,
we got to see some character development from both, I guess you could say, Abomination and Jen.
Right.
But it just felt unnecessary too. Like that whole plot. I feel like they could have gone about it in a totally different way.
No, I completely understand, and I agree, with the sense of they could have done a much better job of showing She-Hulk and what the show's, truly about instead of another, like, filler, even though it was more about it, but still didn't really connect as much as you would like. But at the same time, I thought it was funny, I thought it was entertaining. It just wasn't that great. You know what I'm saying? Like, it can still be like fun, but not be good. Yeah. So that's kind of what I got from it.
Don't Worry, Darling, which I saw this last weekend. That was entertaining, but was it good?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Really.
I get it. I get it for sure. So let's dive in. Okay. So of course, She-Hulk. This episode really was all about her and her wanting to be more in tone with herself.
Yeah.
Which is a good message. I would say I like that aspect and that part. But at the same time, it's like, okay, this has gone away from becoming a lawyer superhero show into a self-reflection show.
Yeah, and this whole episode was about therapy. Obviously we've seen her struggle with her identity and, coming to grips with her two different, selves. But, like, I don't know, dude. Like you said, it's ventured so far from that.
It has. It has gone because episode 1 is like a completely different show compared to what it is right now.
No, truly,
it really is.
Yeah.
So that just whole thing is weird. So what happens, of course, is Jen gets word that apparently Abomination did something to break his parole by apparently becoming Abomination with his inhibitor or something, which he definitely became Abomination.
Yeah, for sure.
His excuse was, I was saving the chicken from the electric fence.
His electric fence, which is, bro, no.
That's for sure.
Not like that.
Cap.
I thought the parole officer was hilarious.
He was funny.
He's like, I'm not going out there without a Hulk, bro.
Honestly, that's probably how I would be too.
I'm not about to get smashed.
With an Abomination, he could throw a car at me.
I know, for real.
For real. So yeah, that would be kind of scary. So I'm glad that they both went up there together, and then he was like, no, man. And then of course a fight breaks out, which I don't know if this fight was like necessarily staged.
I
think it may have been staged.
I think it was definitely staged, dude. If you look prior to the fight, dude, there's no sounds of anything, no sounds of fighting. All we see is Man-Bull and the man through the air,
or whatever,
right on top of her
right
car.
on the car.
This was Abomination clearly has something at play here, and he wanted her for that duration.
He wanted her to stay. He wanted her to chill. So what's up with that?
There's no way out of all the room in the whole, ranch. I don't know whatever you call it. Right. They just fall right in the car and total it. Of course.
Yeah, that's a bit like off. But then again, knowing the show, I don't know if they're smart enough to incorporate that
connected pieces.
So
but
I don't know.
I do think that most keen people can agree that Abomination is sus.
He is very sus. I mean,
bro.
In the comics, he was never an anti-hero. I mean, he's a villain.
Yeah, he's a straight villain.
So if they're still going the anti-hero route, I don't like it anyway. And I think he should be a villain. Like, he needs to be sus.
I agree. I agree. I want to see a fight. But as to why, we know that, they can't get her DNA if she's She-Hulk. And we've already seen, Josh later on. But the thing is, like, why would Abomination want her there?
Right, unless Abomination's working with, of course, as we see later, she finds out about the Hulk King, which we obviously know it's that one dude with the glasses she wanted to date with earlier. Like, it's gonna be him, and I'm gonna be mad.
Dumb.
It's literally gonna be him.
And he's like in the courtroom later.
I know.
On,
He's just like,
there.
"Hi, I got your blood."
By the way,
and then it's gonna be a whole like Megamind kind of situation where the villain wants to be the hero, and of course gets the powers, and then fight. It's gonna be that situation.
Dude, that's a go-to movie, man.
It's a great movie, but it's not going to go over well in the show.
No, it's not going to be as good.
All. It should have been the leader from the get-go. I promise you it would have benefited so much more from that.
I guess the only reason was, he's too big for a show, which I agree. If you put someone like that in this show, it'd be totally off balance.
Right,
so I'm glad he's getting fleshed out in a movie.
Yeah, that is nice. All right, so... Of course, after all this, we got to meet our, like Z-list level Marvel characters that we get. We got Man-Bull.
Never heard of him.
Man-Bull. We got the Porcupine.
You said he was a furry, bro. That is a man in a porcupine costume.
He has a man in a porcupine costume, just chilling.
That man needs to be there. Man's got some issues he needs to work through.
He likes porcupines. But anyway, we got the Matador kind of dude. I forgot his name.
But he had like an actual power.
He did.
Like his sword was pretty cool.
And then, of course, we had the fake vampire guy who thought he was a vampire.
Saracen, I think.
Dude,
he was hilarious.
He was funny.
I thought he was hilarious.
He's like, can we go suck his blood? Like, whoa, man. He was funny. So that was
great.
Blade
just shows up out of nowhere.
That is great. All right. And then, of course, who else? Oh, yeah, we had the guy from the Wrecking Crew, right?
Yeah.
Who attacked you earlier. And then she was like, I don't like you. Attacked me,
And now he's like all wise and zen.
Yeah.
I don't
sus for sure, not true.
Sus for sure.
So definitely it's not adding up to those senses in there. And then of course, She-Hulk opens up. She's like, I have trouble, between my two personalities. I'm the girl who gets viewed and looked at, and that doesn't make me happy, which is true. Like, that message was actually good and legitimate, but at the same time, it's like, does it belong in the show necessarily? No.
Yeah.
So that's,
Listen, man, I agree. I agree completely.
Right.
And I really don't think they needed an entire episode at Abomination's Ranch to really play this out with her character and its development.
Now, I'm cool with it being, on Abomination's Ranch and, the whole like vibe there. I'm cool with that. But the whole plot of the episode wasn't meant for that. It should have been something way more interesting, to be honest.
I still want to see her, in the courtroom.
I do too.
To be honest, we haven't gotten that much.
We haven't gotten much, and it's literally She-Hulk, attorney at law. I literally thought they changed the name not only to pay homage to the comic book, but to pay homage to the fact that she's a superhero in law.
Yeah,
and then it's not becoming that anymore. It's like,
I mean, I know, and to be fair, she went out there because of her job, because she's a lawyer, but at the same time, that didn't turn out too much. And then it just spawned into
it's starting to become more of like a rom-com, if I'm being honest. Like, it's all about her love life and then her wanting to be with somebody.
Yeah, struggling with her other self. No, that's the perfect... I hadn't thought about that.
It's starting to feel more like that.
Because the last two episodes were about Josh. And then before that, it was about her going on dates.
Other dates
She-Hulk,
to find them. Of course, they just like She-Hulk.
Yeah.
And yada, yada, yada. So... And then, of course, we see with Josh that, of course, this show can't write a good guy character.
Obviously,
so Josh, as we called in the last episode, of course, we're not sure about him being in line with the Wrecking Crew or not yet, but he is not good, right? He stole her blood after, what they did together. And so he stole her blood.
Did he actually steal blood?
Well, he had a little vial, and then he was like rotating it, and then he left, so I'm assuming
remember, he put his phone down on hers too.
Right, and he copied her information.
I wonder, what's so important? I mean, clearly the blood would be the main thing.
Right. Why is he getting more info?
Like, I got her phone number.
Right. Maybe the Hulk King is just like, I'm interested in her still. Yeah. I don't know.
I want to be lovers.
And also, like, I'm wondering, they chose the words Hulk King, and it reminds me of Hulk King, the Marvel
It's what I kept on thinking about.
So I'm wondering, like, I don't think that's going to have any correlation at all, because it shouldn't, because Hulk King has nothing to do with the Hulk characters. Yeah. But it's kind of just reminded me of that, if that,
Yeah.
So.
No, I was thinking of that too, but obviously you got two Ks in there.
Right.
But like, just harping back on your point about the fact that Marvel can't write a good male character in the show.
They can't in the show. I mean, the only one...
It pisses me off,
Yeah,
to be
there's
honest,
only
man.
3, and then the only 3 that they wrote well are the 3 that have already been introduced before in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, like Hulk and Wong, and then Abomination are the only 3, and of course,
he's
the only
still
3
a jerk. He's still
he's still a jerk. But at the same time, it's like those are the only 3.
I like Pug. We just haven't.
He's still
seen
not the best character.
Yeah,
though.
he's not a great character, but the one doctor dude they introduced, only likes her for her, and then
Right,
Josh
right.
is this great thing that
Mhm.
she could ask for,
Yeah.
and then it turns out.
And then, of course, they made it predictable in the sense that they can't make a guy character good. So
Yeah.
obviously, we knew he was going to be bad. So
yeah,
it didn't pan out well. And then, of course, another episode, another no Daredevil show up. So, and Charlie Cox did confirm he's only in one episode, which I'm fine with that anyway.
Yeah.
But at the same time, if you're going to tease it way back in episode 5,
I
and he's
know.
not going to be in
And
the
then
next 2
push
episodes,
on. Yeah.
like what?
Do you think it's gonna be episode 8 or 9?
I think 8's more likely. And then 9, I think Bruce is going to come back.
Yeah.
But I don't think he's going to be in the finale.
I saw this
So-
one person on Instagram. They're like, just watch. He's only. They're gonna shove all his scenes in the post-credit scene of the.
I know. Like what Morbius did with Vulture. Yeah.
He's like, you ever heard of? It was like Spider-Man, and Morbius is like,
No, he was like,
what does he say?
I think it has something to do
with
with Spider-Man, the worst dialogue in
And
history.
they're clearly like not in the same
they're
room,
like,
and they're just
huh.
staring at each
It's
other.
like, I think we should start a team. It's like, what is
That's just terrible
That
dialogue.
was so horrible. I don't think Michael Keaton was even there. Anyway, enough of that. But, again, like I said, fun time, but not good, if that makes sense. Not a good
I
episode,
completely agree.
but I enjoyed it. But that pretty much wraps up what I have to say about it.
Daredevil, episode 8.
Hopefully. We
episode
hope.
9.
We hold
they're
out
gonna
hope.
try some way to wrap it up. Surely by
Right.
episode 9, they'll at least include
Right.
Abomination.
We
of
hope so.
Simpsons.
Anyway, I mean, hopefully we get Abomination versus Hulk. At least.
Yeah, he's supposed to come back
Right.
too, isn't he?
He's supposed to be in the finale, allegedly. So we can only hope.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
Well, I have no hope in you, Marvel, after this. So
Nope.
that's what you get. All right, guys. If you enjoyed this episode, let us know by giving us a review and a download. Our podcast, Here's in the Moment, is available on all major podcast platforms. So check us out.
Yeah.
Spotify, Apple Podcasts. If you want to stay updated with all our news, follow the Instagram.
Follow
Here's
the
in the Moment.
Instagram.
TikTok with an extra T.
Extra teeth.
As far as our upcoming episodes go, we have Latest Superhero News 12,
Latest Superhero
right?
News 12.
Coming out Thursday,
Break down all the superhero
5 a.m.
news.
Check out. Last news went crazy with
It
all the
went
Wolverine,
hype.
Deadpool 3. It was
For
hype.
sure.
It was hype.
For
So
sure.
check out the new one. 5 a.m.
5 a.m.
Thursday.
And also like and subscribe YouTube. And we just want to thank y'all for listening. And as always, or watching, we love you 3000.